had to exist. If she had to be here, she'd make sure the universe knew it had made a mistake. I'd had the good fortune of meeting her in high school, and we'd been unlikely friends ever since. Maybe it was because she only survived school from my notes and study help, or maybe it was that I'd managed to save her from the worst of the bullies she seemed to attract. Either way, I liked her, and I guess it was for the same reason people inexplicably liked cats. Want to poop on my pillow because I went out of town for a day? Want to pee directly outside your litter pan even though it's perfectly clean? Or maybe you want to just make sure gravity still works for the 10th time this week and knock my drink to the floor. That was Lilith. Well, minus the bathroom habits, as far as I knew. Deep down, deep down, I knew she still needed affection just like everyone else, and I liked how hard she tried to pretend she didn't. I said, stop it, she repeated in her usual deadpan. I can see you smiling from the corner of my eyes. It's going to make me barf. Can't help it. It's fall. I said the words in a sing-song voice, partly because I knew outward happiness was like Lilith's kryptonite. She grimaced. Good. Then maybe those disgusting creatures you're trying to grow in our kitchen will die soon. Plants. Lilith. They're called plants. And considering their inside, I'm sorry to say they will probably survive. Accidents happen, though. She didn't take her eyes from the road, but I thought I saw a glimmer of pleasure in them as her thoughts turned murderous. What kind of person doesn't like plants? They smell. Ooh, I said, pointing to a billboard on the side of the highway. Pumpkin spiced lattes. We're halfway through October and I haven't even had one yet. We have to. Please. Ugh. She gave me a sideways look, showing no concern for the fast-moving traffic in front of us as she stared me down. A nervous smile twitched across my face. The road, I said quietly. She languidly dragged her eyes back to the road. It's not going anywhere. Technically, no, it's not, but we are at about 90, I said, leaning to the side to glance at the speedometer. I laughed, but my heart was pounding. I was pretty sure a few more seconds would have had us careening off the road to our fiery deaths. I had too much to live for to die young. The last season of Game of Thrones was still coming. I had never eaten a poached egg, and my bucket list still had at least 10 items left unchecked, starting with ice skating with a gorgeous guy at night to the soundtrack of Dirty Dancing. In all seriousness, if I died before I made it to art school in Paris, I was definitely going to come back to haunt Lilith. I'd use my artistic skills to draw ghostly penises in the fogged-up glass of her shower doors, and they wouldn't be the high school variety of graffiti penis. They'd be disturbingly detailed and lifelike. Actually, that was about as far as my haunting creativity went. But if the time came, I'd think of something better. Lilith shrugged at being reminded to watch the road. It was hard to say when she was amused, but I thought I could sense it radiating off her like heat. I probably seemed innocent to the world and breakable to her, even after the years we'd known each other. In her cat-like way, I think she was pawing me closer to the edge of a long, hard drop to the floor, just to see what would happen. I looked out the window as we took the exit. Stores had already started stocking the shelves with Halloween gear from candy corn to pumpkins, and I'd watched no less than 2 horror movie marathons, even though I had the same tolerance for being startled as a chihuahua on the 4th of July. Freddy Krueger scared me the most. I mean, what's scarier than a guy who gets you in your dreams? At least with the other bad guys, you cannot be the horror movie bimbo who doesn't realize that basements equal death, upstairs equals death, and barns full of thrashing equipment definitely equal death. Honestly, if I was in a horror movie, I'd gather up all my friends, look in the mirror, and try to figure out which one of us looked most like the cute girl next door. Everybody else was dead, and the guy who looked most like a jock was probably secretly the killer. Predictable or not, I still watched horror movies from behind a big pillow. I told Lilith she could park and let me run in to grab the coffees, partly because I wanted a taste of the weather, but more because I'd seen how much she frightened fast food workers. She once told me how she had found a dead fly, saved it in a Ziploc bag,
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.